Happy Wednesday afternoon to all you amazing people. I've had a chance to talk to many of you, email you guys, quite a few of you. And like I said, you guys are always welcome to call, email, and don't forget, we'll be starting basically an investment hub or investment group. Okay. And where, I'm going to try to open up a bank, help you guys exchange your currency. And we'll do that, probably trying to get a bank set up out of Texas so it's centrally located. And then we'll have some other investment options around that. Okay, do I have a private lending group? I have some business structures, maybe one that does mergers, acquisitions, all that. So we're gonna have a lot here to offer you guys. At the bank, we're gonna try to get some different investments in place for you guys, ranging from 10 to 14%. Okay, guys, I've got some really good news for you. Let's go through this. Okay, let's go through this and let's look at it. The Iraqi Parliament. Okay, first off, let me tell you what this is. This right here is an older article. Here's what I've done. I brought forth three different articles kind of talking about Iraq's budget, okay? From some old budgets to the current budget. And I want to show you some things. I want to show you how, in a way, either Iraq's lying to you to mislead you, or due to translation, it doesn't come through correctly due to translation, okay? Now, let's get into the articles, and then I'll kind of explain everything to you. So here's the figures from Iraq's 2019 budget. Okay, we're not going to read the articles. There's no need. This article right here, it says Iraq's 2019 budget. In that highlighted section was 133 trillion dinar. Again, the 2019 budget was 133 trillion dinar. Okay. Let's look at the next article now, guys. If you look at the date on this article, it's from March 20th of this year. Remember, for 2020, they had two different budget amounts. There was one budget amount, a dinar amount for pre-COVID, and a second one for post-COVID. Okay, because pre-COVID would have been the entire year of 12 months. Post-COVID would be, they're telling you in the news it's only 3 months, but we're going to talk on that because the math, and the budget amounts don't reveal to you that it's 3 months. Okay, we'll get into that in a second. So again, now with the pre-COVID amount, which was a 12-month 2020 budget, okay, there it is right there, 164 trillion dinar. Okay, so again, the pre-COVID 2020 budget's 164 trillion dinar. Okay, now here's an article from today. And this is the article that's telling you it's a 3-month budget, which would be October, November, December, and I'm calling BS on that. They're telling you that the 3-month budget is 148 trillion dinar. So let's look at this for a second. Actually, let's just go to here it is again, 140 trillion at $40 a barrel. Okay. I kind of put a little list together here for you. Let's look at this for a second. Let's talk about this. Okay. So the 2019 budget was 133 trillion. So let's look at the 2020 pre-COVID and 2020 post-COVID. Okay. So 2020 pre-COVID 12-month amount was 164 trillion. Okay. Now the 2020 post-COVID, which they're telling you is only 3 months, is 148 trillion. That's 3 months. But yet, if that's only a 3-month budget, it's only 16 trillion less. So they're telling you that they need 148 trillion dinar for 3 months. Guys, I don't know about you, but that's a lie. That can't be for 3 months. That is way too much money for 3 months. Unless you're ignorant enough to believe it, then hey, that's on you. Let's talk about what this means, guys. Here's what I'm trying to help you with. Okay? Let's work off of the pre-COVID figures first. Okay? Let's do 164 trillion divided by 4 quarters. Okay? That's 41. That works out to be 41 trillion per quarter. So 2 quarters, which is 6 months, okay, would be actually 82 trillion. So again, 6 months is 82 trillion. Now, but yet supposedly a 3 month budget for the remainder of this year is only 16 trillion less. No, 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 no. Guys, let me tell you what this is. Okay? So the 6 month figure on this, and that's what this is, guys. This number here, it's not, they're telling you it's 3 months, but that's a lie. Here's what it is. It's a 6 month budget, which would be, as I just proved to you factually, is 82 trillion according to the pre-figure, half of the pre-figure or pre-COVID. Okay, again would be 82 trillion for 6 months based on the pre-COVID figure right there of 164 trillion. Okay, so if you take that 82 trillion, that would cover for 6 months. Now let's take this post-COVID figure. Let's do 148 trillion. Okay, minus 82 trillion. It equals 66 trillion, guys. So here's what they've done. They've so that's 66, okay? So here's what they've done. They've basically in this current budget for the remainder of this year, guys, it's actually not a 3 month budget. It's actually a 6 month budget. But what they've done, so the 6 month budget figures would actually be, as I just showed you mathematically, would be 82 trillion. And then what they've done, guys, is they've added another 66 trillion in there to cover the reforms because they're showing you factually this isn't my opinion. They're telling you factually that there are reforms. They keep talking about investments and reforms within the 2020 budget. They keep telling you that. Okay? So that's what they've done, guys, is they've put together for you the remainder of this year. Again, it's a 6 month budget, not a 3 month budget, because you can see the budget is way too large for just 3 months. There's no way in hell that's a 3 month budget. That 148 trillion for 3 months, but yet the full 12-month budget before COVID without reforms was 164 trillion. There's no way in hell that that's a 3 month budget. There's no way in hell that number's too large. So what it is, guys, it's an 82 trillion dollar 6 month budget, but they've added another 66 trillion in there for reforms. Okay, that's what that is. So again, the post COVID budget numbers, it's 148 trillion, but basically what they've done is they need for 6 months, which is what this is. It's a 6 month budget. Okay, what it is it's about 82 trillion out of the 148. About 82 trillion of it is that's what the government needs to cover its operating expenses and so forth. And then they've added another 66 trillion, guys, in there to cover the cost of some of the reforms. And remember, they told you they're going to implement the white paper reforms in stages and phases. So that's all this is, guys. It's just a 6 month budget with about 66 trillion in it to cover some reforms. Okay, let's keep moving on. Then we got more good articles. Parliamentary finance. The cabinet will pass the budget next week. Okay, so there you go. We're not going to read this. They're just telling you right here. If we look at the first paragraph, that's all that matters. Member of the Parliamentary Finance Committee announced on Wednesday, that's today, that the Kurdistan region's share of the budget depends on two basic points, while noting that the council ministers will pass the budget next week. So there you go. So they're going to start the budget approval process next week. Okay, and that's for the federal year budget for the federal year of 2020. Okay, that's that article. Let's look at this. We got some more good articles here for you. Remember today, Kademi was actually in the Kurdistan region, and they were further having discussions for the comprehensive agreement and coming into agreement. So it says, and don't forget, Kurdistan and Baghdad guys already have reached a 2020 budget agreement. What they're working on right now is either a 1 to 3 year budget, 1 to 3 years budget frame starting from the year of 2021. So they're done with 2020. They're in agreement. So this is for the year of 2021 to 2023. It'd be that 3 year period. Okay. At the conclusion of talks, Erbil is ready to conclude an agreement on oil and revenues. Okay. Kurdistan Regional Government Delegation, headed by Prime Minister Qubad Talabani, returned to Erbil on Wednesday after the conclusion of a round of talks, during which he expressed the region's readiness to agree on the oil file and financial revenues. So, and as you see in this next paragraph right there, regarding what was included in the meeting between the two sides, it explained that the discussions were positive, noting that the two sides had a detailed dialogue on the outstanding problems, especially the issue of the Kurdistan region's financial entitlements and how to include them in the draft Iraqi general budget law for next year of 2021. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They're working on right now. They've got an agreement up through the remainder of 2020. So this is for everything past that. This is for 2021 to 2023. Okay. So there you go. So they're Kurdistan. If we go back and look at the title, Kurdistan or Erbil means Kurdistan. That they're in agreement and they're ready to draft and conclude an agreement with Baghdad. Let's look at the next article. Barzani Party, the ground is suitable for Kademi to solve the outstanding issues between Kurdistan and the region. A member of the Kurdistan Democratic Party confirmed on Wednesday that the ground is suitable for Prime Minister Kademi to conclude an agreement between Baghdad and Erbil, indicating that it is not in the center's interest and the region to collapse any agreement between them. So there you go. Both Baghdad's now saying they're ready to draft an agreement, and Kurdistan's also showing you factually in the news that they're ready to draft a comprehensive agreement. So now here's another key point I want to raise to you guys. This is just more common sense. You can call it my opinion, whatever. Notice how at the same point at which Iraq's ready to draft the 2020 budget, which I'm been able to kind of factually prove to you that the budget is really married to the rate change. That's why Iraq has not approved a budget and could not approve a budget through the first half of this year because it's married to the rate change. It has reforms in it, which are post rate change items. Reforms cannot be implemented until the rate changes. That's why the 2020 budget is married to the rate changes, because of the reforms inside of it. Okay. So because of that, that's 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 why they're not approving a budget until now, which was the middle of their fiscal year. September ends the first half, October starts the second half of their 2020 fiscal year. Their fiscal years range from April through March. Okay. So here's what I'm trying to show you that's just very unique. That's why I think a lot of the news is scripted and rigged, in other words, they're much farther along than they're telling you the truth on. And here's what I'm trying to show you. Notice how Kurdistan and Baghdad are now magically ready to reach a comprehensive agreement at the exact same time and almost the exact same week that they're ready to start the approval process of the budget. That's a little too coincidental. So my point is to you, I've been telling you guys this for a while. They're much farther along than what they're telling you the truth on, because things are coming together too nicely at this point in time. Okay, if they're much farther along than what they're telling you the truth on. That's why right now they're magically ready to almost draft a comprehensive agreement at the same week they're ready to tackle and complete the 2020 budget. So I just wanted to share that with you. Hey, you guys are the best. Um, you guys have, I've put my phone number out there for you. I'm putting my email address out there. We're going to get a bank open to help you guys exchange your dinar. And guys, don't forget about faith too. Even faith, I showed you some tremendous faith in this, that even faith has literally walked you up to a specific date, the Hebrew New Year, Rosh Hashanah. Okay. And even Trump came out saying that on that same date, that's when he plans to implement sanctions, specifically financial banking sanctions, specifically on the country of Iran on September 20th. That's a very strange day to just magically pull out of thin air to implement sanctions on Iran. Okay. And then I told you guys about how Iraq drafted. First off, Iraq did not even need to come to the U.S. to talk to Trump. When they came to the U.S. on August 20th, it was to draft contractual agreements with U.S. companies. Okay. And I told you those contracts have a 30-day execution period. Okay. So those contracts were drafted on 8/20. that takes you to 920 for the execution period. And the rate has to be done and in place when those contracts are executed. So those contracts can only be executed based on the new rate. Okay, so I just want you to think about that. Hey, you guys are the best. God bless all you guys and have a great day. Take care.